Welcome
Okay.
to Founders Corner. I'm Karen Ballou, founder of Immunocologie, and I am here with Manon Crespi, who is founder of a new hair line that we're going to talk about today. And I also want to say that she has been in the beauty world, but also fashion and jewelry world, and an amazing writer. So let's talk a little bit more about you, Manon. I want to hear all about what you've been up to and the things that you've been doing. And how did you ever get into this incredible world of hair and products? I think that's an incredible story. And one thing I wanted to say to everyone here is that Manon and I got to meet each other several years ago, and many years ago now. And one of the things that was so amazing is that when you meet a person who just you connect with, and someone who you can't stop talking and chatting, and you go on for hours and then hours. That's our story. That's how we came together, and it was amazing. And she's had an incredible journey, and as an entrepreneur myself, and her new journey to entrepreneurism, we've had many great conversations, and I wanted to share that with all of you today. So, Manon, tell us about how this happened, because it's a great story, how you got to become an entrepreneur.
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you for having me in Founders Corner. Such a privilege to be interviewed by you. You know, I'm one of your biggest fans. So my journey to starting a hair care product is kind of a long and winding road. I never set out. I mean, I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit. I've always started things, you know, whether it's organizations at our kids' school or whatever. But this is, and there was a time I did a handbag company with a friend of mine that morphed into a jewelry company. And so I've tried this many times, but this time I know that it's truly, truly meant to be, because it's something that I actually wasn't looking for. It kind of just happened to me. I would say about 12 years ago, I started to think about transitioning my dyed hair to my natural silver hair. I had been a stay-at-home mom for 15 years. And actually a few years before that, when I turned 40, I decided after 15 years of being a stay-at-home mom that now that all my kids are in school, I would like to, you know, pursue something for myself outside of the home. I still worked from home, but I kind of started this dual path. And one was modeling. I had done it in college and discovered that women over 40 were starting to get work in the modeling world. And so I started modeling. That was here in I live in Boulder, but this was with an agency in Denver. At the same time, a friend of mine asked me to help her relaunch her jewelry company. And that just kind of meant helping her develop products. She did the designing, but I call it the grunt work, because I had to like do a spreadsheet with all the different gemstone sizes and email it to Bali, and then they would make the jewelry. And anyway, I ended up
like an internship.
Yeah, it was without even realizing it. I was like, oh, I'll help you, but you know, I can only do it between 8 a.m. and 3 p.m. Because I always wanted to be home for the kids. We have 4 kids. So anyway, so I worked part-time with Kier's. Her name's Kier Bodecker. She's a wonderful jewelry designer. So I was working with her. Once we developed this product line, then we started going to trade shows. So then I would sell at trade shows. And once I was there, I kind of discovered after 15 years of being home that, wow, every time I went to a trade show, I just blossomed like a flower. Because I always knew I was a social person, but I just met so many people. I absolutely love the trade show experience, because especially in the jewelry industry, because people from all over the world go to these shows. So I now have friends literally all over the world, and it's the best part of the jewelry industry. But anyway,
for you today.
Those are gorgeous.
I wore my pearls.
I love the pearls. And I only wore my little dainty moon necklace. So, but anyway, so once I was at these trade shows, I started making friends and I ended up working for a couple of different companies in marketing. And then ultimately a woman whose family owned a magazine publication called Eclat International approached me and asked me to write a trends feature for their magazine. And I said, sure, I can do that. I was like, I'm gonna figure out how to do that. I mean, maybe I don't know how to do it, but I will do a very good job. So anyway, I ended up working for that magazine, and really was for me a big discovery as well, because I really discovered that I loved telling stories. I loved hearing people's stories. I just get so inspired. I mean, the first question I ever asked my husband when I first met him was, what's your story? You know, so it's
there you go, being able to tell a
yeah.
story.
Yeah, it's always been, and so obviously in marketing, that's the main thing you focus on with marketing, is how are you going to tell the brand story, and how are you going to help the customer experience that story the way that, you know, you're feeling it. And in my case with our hair care products, our customer is actually the inspiration for the brand story, which I'll get into later. But so that was great. I was working for Eclat International, and then would go to the same trade shows, but for different reasons. Obviously, now I'm not the brand or the vendor. I'm actually the press now. So I got to go, and some of my favorite jewelry designers are on the board behind me. My side gig is Rare and Beautiful. It's a YouTube channel where I've expanded it to beauty. I call it now Rare and Beautiful People, Places, and Things.
Is that like a blog? Is that more of a blog, or is it just a site where you put content? Is that? It's
actually my YouTube channel is called Rare and Beautiful, and so I use my YouTube channel for video interviews, and then I use Instagram. I post the same interviews that I have on YouTube on my IGTV. Instagram definitely is my primary platform. I have almost 47,000 followers now, and so yay! I know, and almost 70% of them are women, 35 and older. So obviously, I love that. I love women.
Your passion actually turned into, which is jewelry, right? That passion, the jewelry and the writing, turned it into even more so. And that, you know, I use the word entrepreneurship with you, but because that's what you have to have in you a bit.
Right.
You have to have passion, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, just in our own personal conversations, you exude that passion for life, your children, your husband. But
yeah.
You know, even for even the Lord,
yeah,
that too,
for sure.
And you know, I think part of that is, you know, when I hear this story, you actually didn't know where you were going with it, because you just really went with the gut, with your heart,
mm-hmm.
and you went and you tried things, took you out of your comfort zone of not working for 15 years and
right.
kids, right? That's what I hear from your conversation with me.
Right.
It makes me believe that along the way, some people don't know when it hits them that the light bulb goes off, right?
Right.
And this was not your business. It was somebody else's business. You were writing for someone else's magazine.
Mm-hmm.
All of that was going on. So when that all happened and you started to talk about a transition, were there people that were helping to maybe guide you? Because sometimes people being an entrepreneur, but one having in their gut to jump off, I want to call it jump off the cliff and actually do something about their passion. A lot of people
right.
live through life having a passion that they've never lived out. So
yeah,
was there someone who helped push you that way, or helped to really give you that extra confidence?
Yes, I mean, absolutely. One thing I want to say is that I think life is constantly presenting us with opportunities, and I think having our antenna up to recognize them, and also not, for me, you know, I got my degree in broadcasting, at Arizona State University. And so, you know, but then I fell in love. I got married. I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. We had 4 kids. So life is just funny. But when I think it's a culmination of a lot of different things and a lot of different people. I have a husband that has always supported every harebrained or not harebrained idea I've ever had. He's encouraged me. And now, I was talking about the magazine opportunity and I took it. I wasn't sure. I didn't even think about if I could do it or not. I was like, yeah, I'll do it. Well, then that opportunity led me to Elite Traveler magazine through my dear friend, Heather. Mm-hmm. And then and that's where, I wrote about you, because I always wrote articles about people that inspired me and whose products inspired me. And you were my one and only beauty article that I ever wrote for Elite Traveler. But that experience opened a huge door for me in terms of the kinds of luxury brands that I was interfacing with on the jewelry side of the world. That
was a great article that you did.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
So appreciated that.
You inspired me to write it. I was so inspired by your story. Anyway, so when I was 40 and I started modeling, and I was 40 and I got into the jewelry business, about 2 to 3 years later, one of my agencies I only had one agency in Denver, Colorado, and they said, you really should consider letting your hair go silver. You'll get so much more work because you'll look like a young 65-year-old. And I was just like, okay, that doesn't sound fun to me when I'm 43. However, if I'll make more money and I don't have to dye my hair every 3 days, sure, I'll do it. I mean, it wasn't that easy of a decision, but it was like, you know what? At first I was like, no way. And then maybe a year and a half later, I was like, you know what? Why not? I am so sick of dyeing my hair. So I let my silver hair come in, because to change the world, no. To change the narrative on embracing your age and your silver hair, no. I did it because I was sick of dyeing my roots every 3 days. But what happened was more and more women started kind of catching on to this idea that, oh yeah, I can be beautiful, I can be active, I can be, all these things and still have silver hair. And it doesn't mean that I'm Aunt B or this, old decrepit lady. So unbeknownst to me, friends were calling me from all around the country saying, Manon, have you been on Pinterest lately? And I said, no, that's not really where I hang out. And they said, every time you type in gray hair, your picture pops up. And I said, what? So I went on there and it was like 30,000 views a month. And all these pictures had 10,000 pins per picture. And it's like, oh my gosh. And then my Instagram too grew in the last 2.5 years, grew from like 3,000 to now 47,000 in 2.5 years. The other thing that happened to me was I posted a video on YouTube about how I transitioned my hair from dyed black to natural silver hair, and it has over 500,000 views now. So all to say, I was just minding my own business, living my life, doing what seemed right for me, doing my jewelry thing, doing my modeling thing. And then more and more women would reach out to me. The whole reason I did that video is because so many people asked me on Instagram about how I transition my hair, how I take care of my hair. And it just took 20 minutes to answer every single comment. So I did the video. Well, about a little over a year ago, my oldest son, after I saw the whole Pinterest thing, I came upstairs and I said, I've got to sell something. And my son said, yes, you do, Mom. You need to sell shampoo for natural silver hair. And so I was like, all right, you're right. Because everyone was asking me, and I have a system of how I tone my hair that my hairdresser for many, many years here in Boulder, Colorado, taught me how to do. I mean, when you go to a person long enough, you kind of figure out how you take care of your hair. Yeah. And so I decided, you know what? So many pay it forward, babe. I totally believe in sharing your wisdom. And when women were asking me all the time, how do I take care of my hair? I wanted to tell them I use my own products and this is how I use them. So that's how it all started for me.
So it evolved from that taking a risk, meaning taking a job that you didn't necessarily or have ever done before, to a point of being in an industry you found that you loved, to evolving, even with modeling. You know, that takes a lot to do that and get into a market where, you know, young girls start modeling and that's what they live for, right?
Right.
It just happened to happen for you. And I think that's a great part of your story is you weren't afraid to try. You weren't afraid to do something that was out of the comfort zone and the box that you might have been living in. And so you start to live it by doing it. And I think that's a key, is that to anyone who's listening to us, is to think about getting out of your comfort zone and letting it evolve, right? So to empower women on their journey is really what your story is about, and mine as well, and starting Immunocologie.
Right.
So going from, I'm going to say, the jewelry magazine to writing to modeling to now going through this transition of your hair. And I didn't have the good fortune of knowing you at that time when you had dark hair, but hearing your story as we talk, we love to talk about each other's story because it really bonded us a lot. Beauty in a different way, mine being skincare, yours being hair care at this point.
Right.
That journey, I can say that there's so many women who would never do what you did.
Right.
Any step of the imagination. But I think from knowing you and your message that you can give to women is confidence that it's going to be okay, and let me help you through it, right? So tell me how, you know, when women come to you and ask you that advice, you know, how do you help them? And those that are listening who have never wanted to go through the plunge.
Well, it's funny because I actually recently wrote an article for a publication called The Fullest magazine. It's online. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but in the morning that I wrote that article, I received a DM, a direct message from a gal on Instagram who was, I think she was 27. And she asked me, she said, I'm finding silver hairs. I don't want to dye it. What should I do? You know? Yeah. And even when I did the interview with Leonardo for Levian, when we did that Instagram Live, there was a woman that was probably in her, she said, I'm in my 60s and I'm afraid to do it because of what people are going to say to me and things like that. So look, you're not a bad person if you have fear over this. Our hair is our glory. Our hair, if we have a bad hair day, I mean, I hate to say it, but it kind of affects our day.
Guys, stay away from us, right?
Yeah.
That's
right. So clearly our hair is important to us. What I found for myself with the whole transitioning, when I went from black hair to silver hair, I had a little bit of pushback from friends and family that were, you know, mostly it was a joke, like, what's up with your hair, you know? So it wasn't like, it wasn't crushing me, but it was like, look, you need to get with the program. This is about to go down. Silver hair is going to happen.
Skunk hair, like, you know, the gray hair and the
I had every kind of, I had 3 different colors. I had silver and this weird orange because I tried to lighten it, and then black, and it just kept getting shorter and shorter. But anyway, one thing that happened to me, and this may have happened to you when you went through some of the, you know, big life things that you've gone through, I had never been more emboldened in my life. I had never felt more empowered in my life than when I just started embracing. When that silver hair came in, I was like, I dare you to give me crap about my hair right now. You know, it was almost like, and then I just wore it with pride. I thought, you know, as long as I've got, and I actually really liked it once it came in. the other thing I noticed
gorgeous,
was,
by the way, it's absolutely gorgeous. I mean,
oh, thank you. Thank
you know,
you.
I mean, we're right now on Zoom, but in person, you know, people, when we're walking down the street, people just admire your hair so incredibly. And as we know, we'll stop and say, your hair is so beautiful. And
yeah, I know. I mean, and I try every single time to say thank you like it's the first time I've ever heard it. I felt really empowered when I embraced my silver hair. And I think that that's what a lot of other women are starting to feel. And I do think in some way that empowerment made me more courageous to put myself out there with modeling. And so, which I'll get to in one second, what I was going to say before I open the door for the dog. One thing I noticed after my silver hair came in, I mean, other than people making comments, but when you're like 35 to 40, you start to realize that, I remember Oprah Winfrey saying it. She said, when you're 40, you become invisible. I don't know if you experienced that, Karen, but I started to kind of feel like, because when you were younger and, you know, I got a whole lot more attention, any kind of attention, just people talking to me or whatever when I was younger. And the more I approached 40, the less I started feeling more and more invisible. But once my silver hair came in, it was like, it didn't matter that if people liked it or not, at least they were looking at me, you know,
right?
They noticed. Yeah, it was almost like, whoa,
well, you know,
what is, oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think that's one of the things is that there's a change that happens where people notice and people want to say something, right? Where, well, I mean, long dark hair is beautiful and yours is thick and beautiful. So I'm sure you've got a lot of comments with that, and you're gorgeous and you're tall, and, you know, just have
nothing like my silver hair.
But
nothing.
Isn't it amazing that change? You know,
it's crazy.
I will have to say that experiencing hair change when I was sick with Hodgkin's lymphoma, and you know, as sick as I was, I cried and I cried because I knew I was going to lose my hair, and my hair was long as well, and I thought. That's kind of my signature. Now I'm not going to have it. And I remember how distinct it was for me. And so I think we as women, as we were talking about before, it's really a defining factor for us. Hair day, good day, bad day, or changes in hair. You know, after cancer for me, my hair got thinner. And so that part of it was like, well, I thought it was going to get curlier and thicker, but it didn't. That's what everybody told me. So I had this picture. I was going to have full on hair like yours, where it was going to be full and realizing that. So, but I'm happy to have the hair that I have. So I'm blessed.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
But
well,
tell us more about that journey. Once you did do the color.
Well, yeah, once I did it, it gave me confidence to put myself out there with modeling agencies. And so once it was all in, I submitted some imagery, some of my modeling pictures to a few different agencies. One being Iconic Focus Models, where the most amazing ever model agent, Patty Sicular, got my pictures and called me and said,
New York, right? That's how
I want to sign you. Yeah, that's in New York. And once I signed with Patty, she has just been amazing. But once I signed with Iconic Focus, she then placed me with agencies all over the world. I'm with an agency in the UK, in Paris, in Hamburg, in Zurich, in Spain, in Milan.
And you've traveled.
Texas.
And you've traveled for her too.
And I've traveled. I have traveled a few times. I was supposed to travel for a job in Berlin. Actually, no, it wasn't Berlin. It was Dusseldorf. But then COVID happened. So yeah, I mean, so it really, it gave me the confidence to put myself out there. And then, you know, for me, the culmination, it was like a perfect storm coming together, and it was all completely out of my control. Right. But it was like, I was placed with these agencies, and I started working for Elite Traveler, and the people that I was interacting with in the jewelry world were all the highest jewelry, the most exquisite, gorgeous, expensive jewelry anyone could ever imagine seeing. I had the privilege to see, and even better, I had the privilege to meet the people that actually design it and make it. Wow. And then of course I would post,
wear it, right?
What's that?
In some cases, wear it.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Yeah. Well, so I'm at the shows, I take pictures of myself wearing their jewelry and I post on Instagram. So all to say that this personal brand has kind of evolved over the last few years. Of even my modeling jobs in Denver, I would, for whatever reason, be cast for super high-end luxury homes, or I don't know why. That's just for a girl from Omaha, Nebraska, it cracks me up that I somehow am in this world of luxury. It's not my own personal way of life, but it's an opportunity that I've been able to have. And so this is what's kind of emerged, and just, I guess, I don't know. I'm sure that for all those reasons, I was one of the few early on that was being recognized for my natural silver hair. And so people would ask all the time about it. And so that ultimately, but you asked me a question that I didn't answer, that I really want to answer. You asked who gave you that confidence to, who has kind of pushed you or mentored you or whatever along the way. And of course, I mentioned my husband, my whole marriage to him, which is almost 30 years. But then now I have these adult children, and every single one of them have in some way supported me in this process. The oldest son is actually my business partner. He's now he's not involved, but he founded the company with me. He's a musician out in LA. And so he's 100% focusing on that. But my second son shot our video. We did an Indiegogo campaign. He shot, edited, produced the entire Indiegogo film, which is part of that film is on our website, and it's a gorgeous. I mean, we got up so early in the morning. It was freezing cold at Christmas in Boulder, and then my daughter, of course, is always giving me advice on the branding that our creative director has done. And then our youngest son, Elijah, I remember being at breakfast with him. First of all, when I started the Rare and Beautiful videos, I told him my idea that I wanted to do this. He's now 22. So he was probably like 19 or 20 at the time, 19. And we were at breakfast, and he's like, so you've been talking about doing this, Rare and Beautiful videos. So when are you going to do one? And I was like, I'm going to do one. And he said, Mom, I'm dying to see your videos. I know you can do it. So so thankfully my own family has always, pushed me. And one thing leads to another. And I said this to you earlier, that for me, this whole entrepreneurial experience is like sipping water out of a fire hydrant. That's exactly what it's like.
Great expression. It's so true.
Yeah. So, and it's so true, because I did it with the Rare and Beautiful. Yes, I got my degree in broadcasting, but in 1989, the way you edit is very different than you do now. So I've had to learn how to shoot with my iPhone and the lighting, and then now how to edit the video and do the audio. And then it moved to, now with this hair company, finding a formulator. And I did find a fantastic one, by the way. They're amazing. And so we've together done research and development, and but it's like each step, when we're talking about confidence and building confidence, each step of faith, or each step that we take is like the foundation for the next step, and nothing's wasted. All those things I've tried in the past that never ended up working out, it wasn't wasted. It was one more layer to add to my confidence.
Isn't that what I call getting a master's degree without being in a classroom?
Yeah.
I think you have to go through that to first. What I'm hearing from you is what I feel also is that you have to you have it in you, the fire, and then you
Right.
have to start to act on it, which is what you started to do. And then
Right.
you started to have confidence. And then there's always someone in our life that, or someone's like in your case, that kind
Mm-hmm.
of gives you a little bit of the push, gives you a little bit of the confidence to say, well, it's a challenge too, because when they start saying, Mom, I want to see those videos, it's sort of like,
Yeah,
get out there. I'm going to do it because I'm going to show him that I can do it.
exactly.
So
Now,
especially when you have the
yeah,
kids challenging you like that, it
I
means that
know.
you can do it, right?
Right. And now they're saying to me, how did you do that? Or how did you make it look like that? But the final thing I'll say on the people in your life, yes, my family's very loving and supportive and challenging, but when you're starting a company, it is important to identify a couple people that you trust. And you, of course, are one of mine. Someone that has been there before you, and just someone that has your back and has your best interests at heart and is willing to share. I've met people, and sadly even women, that have, for a dollar amount, they'll help you. And it's like, I have never, anytime anyone has ever asked me, how did I get into the modeling business? I will answer them. I will tell them exactly what I did to get into the modeling business, because why wouldn't I do that? That's like, this is seriously one of the main brand elements of our shampoo company is this idea of wisdom, that by now at our age, because my target market is like 35 and older, we've acquired wisdom.
Yeah.
And one of our hashtags is share your wisdom, because in a society where older people aren't as valued and treasured as they are in, say, like Japan or China or something like that, I think more and more young women are looking to older women for wisdom. And so I think that even our peers are looking for wisdom from one another. And if, anytime anyone asks me about the jewelry industry or writing or what, I will give them as much of my time that I'm able to and knowledge that I have. And so I appreciate you for that, Karen. And you're always so gracious. The first thing you ask is, how's your business going? And it's awesome, because you've been in the industry for a long time. You don't look like it, but you have been. And and you have so much to share, and I appreciate it, and I just take it to heart every time we have our combos. So that's important to succeed.
I think, having an opportunity to share my knowledge, and I always have to say that, everyone's experience is a little different, but there's some basics that are always and remain the same. And
yeah.
And part of that is thinking things through and having a soundboard, right? And
right.
through my career, I've had different soundboards to really help me think it through. And sometimes by saying it to someone, it helps you to learn more about what you're thinking, because you're thinking
right.
to yourself. That's one thing. But when you say it out loud, you're hearing it, and you say, I'm not sure I really liked what I just said, or, maybe I could work on that, right? So it's kind of like some of the things. But, as your hair care brand is coming together here, one of the things is, what do you think, hair being a very important part. So beauty as a whole, what do you think women are really looking for out there in beauty? As a whole, what do you think they're looking for now that you're down this journey of beauty through?
Right.
Tell me more what you think.
Do you mean like skincare, makeup, or hair care, or any of it?
Wellness, in general.
I think wellness is a huge, huge thing that women think about and care about, because we want quality of life. Yeah. The older we get, we want quality of life. It's like my husband, he's sadly having back surgery the end of the week. And his doctor, he said, well, how can I prevent this from happening again? And he's, pushing 60. And this doctor said the best way you can. What's that? Yes, he's a young 60. His doctor said the best way that you can prevent this from happening again, it's a lower disc thing, is to have a strong core. So obviously, wellness, I personally think, is paramount. And I think that includes eating well, exercise, taking care of your skin, you know, and look, you know me, I say this all the time. To me, being a pro-age woman is embracing who you are in this moment in life. Don't try to be who you were 20 years ago. Right. Don't, obsess over what you're going to be like in 10 years from now. Just be your best version of yourself, whatever that looks like for you. Whatever you need to do or want to do with your appearance, with skincare. If you want to dye your hair, you go, girl. You do you. Yeah. To me, that's the best kind of encourager I can be, is to say, how do you feel the most comfortable in your own skin? That's what you need to do. And maybe it does mean you still got to wear that lipstick from 30 years ago. Yeah. I'm not going to judge you for that. Right. I'm just saying, for me, being pro-age means I'm 55. I'm doing the best I can, not just on my external appearance, but my health, taking care of, eating right, exercise. But most importantly, my values, my personal values, my spiritual life, wanting to leave a lasting impression on someone that makes them walk away feeling amazing about themselves, not because they just met someone with beautiful silver hair, right, but because they met someone with a beautiful heart. Right. And to me, that's ageless beauty.
You are that. So I have to say that it shines through, but just for everyone who's listening, I just have to say, I have to reiterate that is what really makes you special to everyone who you touch in that life of yours, because everyone feels the same way. So.
Oh, thank you, Karen.
That's a
same is true for you. That's why we love each other.
I know. And, so, Manon, tell me more about your hair care brand that's coming out soon. I know you've reached also a place where you want it to be thoughtful, but also natural, as best as it can be natural. And you're also, I know you've been thinking also about the women who are going through transition. So share with us how this has all kind of come together, because I think those are three really important subjects, but how do you do it all opposed to just making a shampoo?
Right. Well, first of all, another big reason why I started this company and this brand specifically for natural silver hair, is because there's really not a brand in the marketplace that is singularly focusing on this demographic. Yeah. And I know that because I am this demographic. And what's that?
You've now studied it.
Yes, I've studied it, and we've done, a lot of research on it, but also I already just knew. Yeah. And being a woman in my 50s with natural silver hair, having to look for products to tone my hair. So let me just say very quickly, we surveyed 55 women from my Silver Sister, I call them Silver Sisters, community on Instagram, asking them what their three biggest pain points were in taking care of their silver hair. And the three top things were yellowing, which happens from exposure to the sun, chemicals in your water. It could be a hormonal, it could be medications you're taking. If you go swimming, it could be hair care products, styling products that you use over time, and that can yellow your hair. So yellowing is the biggest problem. Texture and dryness. So these are the three main things. I'm sure the two of them are true of most women with aging hair. But the yellowing is a problem. And so what I believe is the best way to solve this problem is to tone the hair. And you do that by, the way that I do it is by a 3-step process. I clarify it first with a shampoo. I tone it with a purple shampoo, and then I condition it. So the clarifying shampoo, basically, you'll appreciate this being in skincare. Clarifying shampoo acts like an exfoliator. It gets all the styling products out. It gets everything out. Dirt buildup, oil buildup, whatever.
It's like detoxing the skin.
Exactly. It's detoxing the hair. It also leaves the hair, the hair cuticle a little more, I say open, but it's kind of just expanded.
Yeah. Which
makes your hair like the perfect canvas for the purple pigmented toning shampoo. So we use the purple because on a color wheel, the opposite of yellow is purple. So that purple, it's not dyeing your hair. It's not any kind of permanent dye. It's just a pigment, but it'll neutralize the yellow. So when you tone, so then you use the clarifying shampoo and then you put the purple toning shampoo on. You'll let it sit for, 5 to 15 minutes, depending upon how yellow your hair is. And then you'll rinse it out and then you'll put a conditioner on it. The difference between our product and literally every other purple shampoo I've used is that the way that it works for me, because I'm not a chemist, but I work with an amazing lab in California. And the way it works is I tell the chemist the outcome and the performance that I want the products to have on my hair. And so I have, and they know this because they're hair experts, but I remind them that, look, my consumer deals with hair texture, poor hair texture, dryness, and yellowing. Yeah. So all the products that I want to make, they have to be super hydrating and conditioning because that's just the given with aging hair. So our purple shampoo, it truly is our hero product. It took like 8 months to really back and forth. I'd say, no, it's not, doesn't have a deep enough pigment. It needs to be a blue or purple tone in the pigment. I love our purple shampoo because first of all, it's very rich. When it comes out of the bottle, it's really thick. And I've used purple shampoos that are so runny, it gets all over the shower, but this is so thick, you literally, you have so much more control over it when you put it on. And anyway, but the thing, so we have these great products. Then our fourth product is, it's Clarify shampoo, amplifies the purple toning shampoo. Fortify condition is the conditioner. Nice. And Fortify.
Do you have a picture of them?
I have a picture. Oh. Fortify is so the Clarify is first, then Amplify, and then Fortify condition. The Fortify shampoo is really just for the shampooing in between the toning. I tone my hair every 7 to 10 days. I don't personally recommend washing your hair every single day, but I do wash it in between. Yeah. So we wanted to have that fourth product so that people can have the full hair care experience. But as a silver-haired 55-year-old woman, the thing that I found, it was like a little burr under my saddle with the beauty industry, was every single woman that represented a purple shampoo in the marketplace was like a 21, 22-year-old dyed blonde or dyed silver-haired young woman. Yeah. And I don't want to say that it like made me mad. It didn't make me mad. I just was like, seriously, this is the best you can do. There's a slew, I call it a tsunami of women out there with natural silver hair that they are royally offending because they're, you know, like this is our yeah, is this my role model? A 21-year-old young woman? No, she's not. I love her and she's gorgeous. And I actually have a 24-year-old young woman that I love, my daughter. But no, you know, it's just, it's not right. It's just like I'm still, you know, still don't really love how in the luxury jewelry space, all the models are young women. It's like when I was 23, I can promise you I couldn't afford the ring she's wearing, you know? So it's like, it really is kind of bothers me that marketers and brands don't speak to the people who are actually buying their products. So anyway, with all of that in mind, we created our brand story. I mean, our products and the way they perform obviously are the most important thing.
Yes.
And also the story that we tell is super, super important to me, because the story that I'm telling is 100% inspired by the women that I want to serve with our products. So starting with the pearl, now we're not going to have a pearl cap, unfortunately, and that's a whole nother long story because of COVID, but the pearl, we have pearl extract in our products.
Beautiful.
And the pearl is very prominent in our brand story, because the pearl is a universal symbol of wisdom. And as I said earlier, by now we've accumulated quite a lot of wisdom, and it's now time to share our wisdom. So
does that give the hair shine also, the pearl?
Oh, yes. Well, it also promotes collagen, and yeah, it's a protein extract.
Yes.
So it's all really great for the hair, but we have so many botanicals in our products that it's a wonderful product, all 4 of them. But so we also have the arch, and the arch is symbolic of, we call it corridors. It's, you know, we've gone through many corridors throughout our lives that are bringing us to where we are today. And it's what brought us to this place of wisdom and this place of ageless beauty. And then also the name Manon Des Sources means Manon of the spring. And so water is super important and a big part of our brand experience, because water is symbolic of transformation as well. And, you know, and for sure the hair transformation, if you've dyed your hair and now you're going silver, which the majority of women are doing, that, you know, there's not a lot of people that never dye their hair. So, so there's that literal aspect of it, but also, you know, we do, as we go through life, we transform in many ways. I would hope that we're all transforming. So those are our 3 main brand elements that I believe completely represent my community. And it's not just silver haired women, it's you, it's all women in our age category, you know, that
I think that's so important. I think that's why this is so important to me, being able to have the Founders Corner, so we can really talk about these things and really understand the depth of this. Because, you know, being a founder isn't just being a founder. There's so much more to it. And to be able to talk about those things, those 3 things you just talked about, are so important. I think it's important for women to hear other women talk about it too, and let them know we're there to support them, right?
Right, absolutely.
It's one of the things I'm hoping that we will be able to share with other women out there that are listening to the Founders Corner. But I do want to ask you a question, is that, do you think that this can be used on blondes?
Absolutely. Are you kidding? I had to use blonde-haired people's purple shampoo for the last however many years, almost 15 years. So yeah, it will work on blondes, trust me.
So I just want to make sure that, you know, anyone who's blonde out there and not silver yet, this is a great shampoo that's coming out.
Yes, thank you.
But I remember those days when my mother would get her hair done and she would end up with purple shampoo, and I would say, oh, wow, that's interesting. And then, of course, different times along the way that I would have my hairdresser do a purple shampoo. I go, what is that about? It goes, all about what you said, you know, helping with the tone and helping with the color, all of that. But you did take a more natural approach, although it's very hard to be completely natural with purple.
Right.
So I think,
yeah, you can't be completely natural with the purple pigment in that one particular product, but it's paraben free, sulfate free, cruelty free, you know, all of the free.
USA.
Yes, our products are 100% made in the USA, and that is, you know, that was definitely a COVID thing.
Yeah.
We were set to, you know, order from China, and for many reasons, just kind of, it was an opportunity to stop, think about what we're doing, pivot. And I mean, ultimately it's better for the company because of, it's a lot more control over the product. And I'm talking about the bottles.
Yeah.
Formulations, those have not changed since we said these are it.
Yeah.
But more the bottle. And so our bottle design has changed a little bit. But not enough to matter. Let's put it
there you go. So, as we're nearing the end here, because I could talk, you know this, we could talk for hours, right? And
yes.
But one of the things I do want to ask you, because I always find it always interesting, I always love asking a few questions at the end that come back to, and this one will be, so a little bit about immunocology. So what is your favorite product in immunocology?
Ooh, that's a good question. Because they're all amazing. So it's hard to pick your favorite. I think my favorite one is the body spray.
Oh, yes.
I love that. I mean, when you get out of the shower and you put that on and your legs just glisten and it smells amazing. Every single one of the products smells so amazing. Well, that's what I love about Immunocologie.
Thank you.
And it's wellness for your skin.
Yeah, I guess that was my other question. I was going to say, what is it that you like about it? Not to put you on the spot by any means. I know you're passionate about it. So I ask you, you know, just what do you think is what makes you, what you like about immunocology? I know when you met immunocologie with me and from me, and you got to know it. I know we've had conversations about that, but I'd love to have you share that with everyone.
Right. Well, I mean, the number one thing I love about it is that it literally is wellness for your skin. It's not just, like I joked when I interviewed you, I joked that it's like vitamins for your skin. It's like your daily supplement, but for your face and your body. So for sure, that's the main thing is, I love that it's wellness for the skin. I love that, you know, so you can use it with confidence that there's nothing in there that not only is it not bad for your skin, it's actually healthy for your skin. So I love that.
Yeah.
I love the smell. I'm sorry, but for me, smell is everything. Yes. So I love the fragrance of it, and it's all natural. So I just love it. And also probably because I'm in now the beauty industry, I love the packaging. I love that it's in, you know, I love that it's made in France too.
Just in case.
But I love the packaging. Yeah. I think it's
an
amazing product.
I appreciate that. And, you know, one of the things I love sharing with everyone is the fact that, you know, when working with anyone or talking with anyone about the brand and just having people like yourself having, you know, the opportunity to try it and share it with others, and knowing how they feel about it, because I always want to improve what I do as well, you know.
Right.
Do better, and it's never, I don't think you're ever stopping. So it's always great to get feedback and get to know and hear the good and the bad and all that. And
right.
During this time, I think one of the things that I think we've all learned a lot about our wellness side too, in our immune system, and how important it is to keep that up. So, you know, having thoughtful products like what you're doing, what I'm doing, I think is so important. And also knowing that there are women out there who have some ideas and vision of what they want to do and to create. So I hope through our conversation we can help so more women, right?
Well, I just want to throw in there too that it's the gift of choice that the girlfriends of my sons want is Immunocologie. It's like, I don't even have to think about what that one wants because I know she wants Immunocologie. So it's, I mean, it's that's the beauty of your product line is that it's ageless.
It is. You're so
ageless.
You're so right about that. Well, I'll use your shampoo, and you're already using Immunocologie, so I guess we're like sorority sisters already.
Yes.
And so, just in wrapping up here, what is really next for you? What is next on your agenda as we come through these next few months? And I know you have a lot. I just want to sort of end with some of what's next for you and.
Sure. Well, what's next for me, God willing, is that we'll have products online ready to sell. It is an e-commerce company, and I'm hopefully fall, winter, before the holidays. Manon Des Sources will be alive and well and available on manondesource.com. So
there you go. I love that. So that means that we have to have you come back and actually have the product here, show everyone the product and talk about the ingredients, and maybe we'll do a live demonstration of how it works, right? That could be really fun for everyone.
That'd be fun.
That'd be different, right? I'll do a facial, you do the hair. We'll have beauty.
We'll have spa day at your place.
Yes, there we go. So this has been so wonderful. And again, I want to thank Manon Crespi for being with me today at the Founders Corner, which is our new program that we've put together so that I can interview founders in not just in beauty, but also in wellness and also in fashion, and also people who are mindful in all of the areas that will help us. And I call it wellness and a whole wellness, not just one, but whole wellness. And so I want to, again, thank you, Manon, and I love you dearly. And
I love you too. Thank you for having me. Thanks for watching.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.